right, so today we're going to be either evaluating expressions or simplifying expressions. So you need to know the difference between what does evaluate versus simplify mean. All right, so evaluate means that you're going to replace variables with particular values that are given to you. So the big thing to know is that you're going to substitute every given value for the variables. Remember, variables are your x's, y's, a's, b's, c's, usually represented by a letter. All right, then you're going to simplify using order of operations, which we talked about yesterday. So that's like parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide from left to right, addition, subtraction from left to right. And then your final answer will be some kind of a number, so you should not have any variables left. All right, when you simplify an expression, that typically will end up having a variable in it as the final answer. Not always. It could still just have a constant, but typically it'll have variables still in it. So usually you use distributive property or you combine like terms. Okay, so we're going to do two examples of simplify. Okay, so we're going to first look for any distributive property. So in this problem, I notice that I'm going to be distributing a -4 and a 2. All right, make sure you don't do 7 minus 4 first. So I'm going to distribute -4 times x is -4x, -4 times y is -4y. 2 times x is 2x, I'm going to say plus 2x, and 2 times -3y is -6y. And then I'm just going to bring down the 7. All right, so now I'm going to look for my like terms. Remember, like terms are ones that have exactly the same variable. Okay, so x's can combine with x's. -4 plus 2 is -2x. And then if I look at my y's, I've got -4y and -6y. That's -10y. And then I just have a number that has no variable. That goes at the end. So typically when you write your answer, you write it in alphabetical order. So your x's come before y's, and then you put your constant at the very end. All right, problem number 2 is also distributive property. Now, the only thing I'm distributing is this negative sign, which we should know is a -1. So I'm going to distribute that. -2y squared minus 12. And then I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem. All right, so in order to add like terms, I need the same variable and the same exponent. So y squareds go together, but they're different than y's. All right, so 3 minus 2 is 1, which is 1y squared. And notice that I left off the 1, because we know that's an implied 1. And then here I have just -8y, and I have a -12. So y squareds, then y's, then your constant, and then that's your final answer. So that's if the problem says to simplify. The rest of the problems that we're going to do today involve evaluating. So they give you an expression with some kind of a variable in it, and then they give you the value for the variable. You're just going to do the substitution, and we're following the steps from above. So if you need to refer back to that, you can always go back and look at that. All right, so for the first one, I would suggest you just write anything with a variable as an empty set of parentheses. So whatever the value they give you, you're going to put that in there. All right, now you're going to do as much of it without a calculator as you can. So we know we're going to do multiplication before we add. So we're going to do 15 plus 6. And 15 plus 6 gives us 21. All right, over here we've got -4 times something minus 3. So that something is -2. And then you're going to multiply before you subtract. So negative times a negative is +8 minus 3, which is 5. All right, again, if you feel like I'm going too fast, you can always pause and rewind the video. Be careful on problem 3 because they give you two different variables that you have to substitute for. So x is -3, but y is +4. So we know we want to multiply. You can multiply from left to right. So multiply this one first. You got -15 minus 12. Then you're going to subtract, and you get -27. Number 4, you have 7 times something minus 3 times something. Now be careful because these are in different order. So B is 4, A is 6. All right, then you're going to simplify using your order of operations. So we've got 28 minus 18, and that gives us 10. All right, problem number 5, we've got 2 times x times y minus 3 times y plus 5 times x. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put in a 2. Everywhere I see a y, I'm going to put in a negative 3. And then you're going to do your multiplication. So 2 times 3 times negative 2, you got 2 times 2 times negative 3. That's 4 times negative 3, so that's negative 12. A negative times a negative is a positive 9, and 5 times 2 is 10. Then I'm going to add from left to right. So I got negative 3 plus 10, which is 7. All right, number 6, we need to be careful of the squaring here. So it's x squared plus 3x minus 7. So you're going to put in a 2 everywhere you see an x. So we're going to do exponents first. That's 4, because 2 squared, if you don't know where that is on your calculator. So find your squared key. That's 4. Okay, plus 3 times 2, which is 6, minus 7. Make sure you go in order from left to right. So 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. All right, number 7. This is something squared minus 4 times something plus 10. So that something is our value for m, which is negative 3. When you do this, negative 3 squared means negative 3 times negative 3. That's a positive 9. So be really careful when you do that one. You have to put in parentheses just like you have on your paper, because we really want to do negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. If you just do this, that's incorrect. That's going to give you 3 squared, and the opposite of 3 squared, which is negative 9. We do not want that. Okay, so make sure you got positive 9 plus 12 plus 10. So that's going to give us 21 plus 10, which is 31. All right, and the last one on this side, we've got 3x squared minus 10. So we're going to do 4 squared first. So remember, order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, adding, and subtracting. There's nothing to do in the parentheses, but you have to do exponents before you do your multiplication. So 4 squared is 16. Then you could do 3 times 16, which is 48. And 48 minus 10 is 38. All right, flip to the next page. So we're going to do some of these together. We'll probably do this side together, and then I'm going to have you try these on your own. All right, so number 9, we've got 4 times 2 minus 3 times negative 6, if we substitute in our values, over 9 times 2 plus negative 6 plus 1. All right, there's an implied set of grouping symbols here. So even though we don't see it, you need to do everything in the numerator first and everything in the denominator first. So we're going to do all this. We've got 8 plus 18, which is 26. All right, then we're going to do 18 plus negative 6 plus 1. So that's 12 plus 1, which is 13. Then after you do that, then you can divide, and then you get your final answer of 2. Okay, number 11 we're going to skip to. So we've got the square root of 9 times something minus something. So 9 times 5 minus negative 4. 9 times 5 is 45. Minus a negative 4 is really plus 4. And notice that we're just doing everything underneath our radical, or our square root symbol first, because there's another implied grouping symbol that tells you you've got to do everything there first. So now we've got square root of 49, and the square root of 49 is 7. If you don't remember where your square root key is, it's above the x squared. So if you don't know that one, you could try it in your calculator. All right, number 13. We have 4 times something minus 3 times something minus 7 times something. So we need A, then B, and then A over here. So after you substitute in all your values, do all your multiplying. That's 8 times 5, which is 40, minus 15 minus 14. So if you go from left to right, you got 25 minus 14, which is 11. All right, number 15 has absolute value. So you need to do everything inside the absolute value first before you ask yourself how far away is that number from 0. So m goes here, n goes here. We've got 20 minus 12. So we've got absolute value of 8. Notice we did that first, and how far away is 8 from 0? It's 8 units away from 0. Okay, so we're going to continue with the odds on this page. negative 4x squared plus 3 times x times y minus 2y. So we've got x is here, here. We put in y. Okay, so remember, we're going to do exponents first. So we have negative 4 times 9, which is negative 36. Then we're going to multiply. So we got 9 times negative 5, which is negative 45. And here we have positive 10. And then go from left to right. So when you do subtraction, you have to do this first. So remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you have to go from left to right. All right, so I see this first. I'm going to do negative 36 minus 45. That's negative 81 plus 10, which is negative 71. All right, and then the last odd problem, we got 3 times negative 2 plus 4 times 4 minus 4 times negative 2. So we got positive 6 plus 16 minus, this is negative 8. So minus a negative 8 is really going to be a plus 8. Okay, and then if I add from left to right, I have 22 plus 8, which is 30. All right, I'll do one more of the even ones. So we'll go back to number 10. All right, so this is absolute value of 3 times x times y plus 5 times negative 2. All right, so if I multiply, I've got positive 6 times negative 1, which is negative 6. This gives me negative 10. So negative 6 minus 10 gives me negative 16. Now remember, this is all underneath the absolute value. So now you should be thinking, well, how far away is negative 16 from 0? It's 16 units away from 0. All right, so now I want you to try these 5 problems on your own. All right, I'm going to put up the answers in a second. And when you're done, so you can pause the video and you'll see the answers in a second, but don't forget we're also going to write down our secret word of the day. Okay, the secret word of the day, make sure you put that at the bottom of your homework or of your video notes. So the secret word of the day is going to be Illinois. Okay, and then I'm going to put up the answers to 12 through 20. Make sure you've actually done those before you continue to watch the video. So pause now, do these, and then you'll see the answers when you unpause. Okay, so now you could check over your answers and then make sure you have everything ready to go and turn in tomorrow when you get to class.